Hi, I'm Mark Wybrow, and this is a very special Electronic Cafe, the channel for the lovers of electronic music.
And I'm Andy McNabb. So let's get started.
You can smile, blink and talk, so can we. You blemish and tarnish with age, so do we.
So welcome to another special interview edition of the Electronic Cafe, where Mark and I were fortunate enough to get some time with the great EMT, comprised of Emma and Tony, and alongside their producer and Republica keyboard player Tim Dorney. Great interview, you'll see that shortly, can't wait to show you that. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Before we get there though, a few announcements I'm going to make. First of all, there's a competition. You can win a signed copy of Jennifer Touch's amazing Behind the Wall album, which she kindly signed for us. All you need to do is go on our YouTube page, find the Jennifer Touch episode, and on the comments put Electronic Cafe, Jennifer Touch, competition. That's it. Then you're in with a shout, and Mark and I will randomly select someone and do that draw shortly. And one lucky winner will receive that incredible album. Also, Mark and I are fortunate enough to get artists sending us material, and there's a couple of people I want to mention. I got a nice email from a guy called Gary, who also is under the persona of Kraftman, and he's very good friends with Passenger S. So I said to Gary, any friend of Passenger S is a friend of ours. He is an incredible artist in terms of very much, unashamedly inspired by Kraftwerk. Did a fantastic song dedicated to Florian Schneider. Really, really good music. Check it out. I mean, if you're a fan of Kraftwerk, you're going to love this guy. His album is called Electric Fabrique. It's on Bandcamp. Again, Mark will do another link, so it'll just be down here. Go and check him out. Thoroughly recommend him. Really good artist. Another one is a guy called his name's Barry, but he plies his trade as an artist called Cyber Monday. What I like about him is it's quite diverse. I mean, it's very 80s influence, but it goes from, sort of very almost upbeat, up-tempo dance stuff to quite dark, sort of Depeche Mode, VMV Nation style electronics. So quite eclectic in his work. But again, he's done a ton of material, this guy. Super impressed, Barry, my friend. But check him out as well. He's called Cyber Monday. And again, Mark, thanks, mate, for doing loads of edit links. Put the link up for that, so you can go and find Barry's work, and also, as I mentioned earlier, Gary's work as Kraftman. Both really good artists worth checking out and adding to your music collection. On top of all that, there's one more big announcement. Me and my buddy Mark have been asked by our good friend and legend Rusty Egan to host an evening which is with the man himself, October the 9th on a Saturday at the Pizza Express Live Lounge in Holborn. We're super honoured to be hosting that event. Just to mention as well, our good friend Eric Stein and his band Cult With No Name will be playing live. So get your tickets while you can. I think it only holds about 90 seats, so I think they're going to go very, very fast. Rusty will also have copies of his 12-inch single Take Me to the Other Side, which he did with the fabulous Peter Hook from Joy Division New Order, which he will be signing copies of. He may even have a couple of gold disc copies of Welcome to the Dance Floor, which are incredibly rare, that he may bring along, hopefully, and sign for those who are lucky enough to buy one. So hopefully we can see you there. So just a bit round up into the Jennifer Touch competition. Go and check out Kraftman, go and check out Cyber Monday, and please book some tickets to go and see Rusty, an evening with, or an audience with Rusty Egan on October the 9th at Pizza Express in Holborn in London. And me and my good friend Mark will be hosting it, and we'll love to see you down there and say hello. So that's it, lots going on. Right, now let's go to the interview that Mark and I did with the fabulous Emma and Tony from EMT, along with Mr. Tim Dorney. Hope you enjoy it.
So, I mean, this question might seem a bit redundant with what Tim's got behind him, but do you use hardware synths or software synths, or is it a mixture of both?
Everyone, welcome to another awesome interview edition of the Electronic Cafe. We are joined by a band who have had critical acclaim from the legendary Rusty Egan, and also joined by the producer, and he just happens to be the keyboard player from Republica. So welcome, Emma and Tony from EmT, and Tim Dorney. Welcome to Electronic Cafe. It's really great to have you all here.
Hi.
Great to be here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for giving us your Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and congratulations on a stunning release. I think this album is a real synthetic delight. I mean, you've probably seen some of the reactions we've been getting on our Facebook page. You must be really pleased with this.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, I think you do all the hard work and, you kind of fall in love with the song immediately, write it, get not bored to tears with it, but you've heard it so many times. And then Tim sprinkles the magic and just pulls it all together. And then you think, God, that's a really good job done. And I get quite apprehensive about when we release songs, and the feedback is just I've been absolutely blown away, and immediately that people are buying the album that have been waiting for it for so long, and getting chased for when we're doing gigs, and it's a really exciting time to.
You sent us the Resolute album when that came out, and you sent us an early copy of this, and when I first heard. I like the Resolute album. When I first heard this one, it was a noticeable step up. It sounded like the production sounded fatter and bigger. And, I think it's my personal thing. I think it's down to the drum sound, because the first album was a lot of kind of dancey 4/4 drums. And the drums on this seem a little bit more intricate. And it's just such a big sound. I really, really like it. And we're getting such great comments from people on our Facebook group, on the channel and stuff. People that have ordered it and are listening to it and are just posting great comments about it.
Yeah, even my teenage daughters will always say my music's shit. I had it playing in my study and they walk past me, what's that? And I said, oh, they're really lovely things. But they really liked it. They just thought it was great. And I have to say, your voice is sounding really strong on it. And I mean this is a massive compliment. There's touches of Claudia Brookin in it to me, which I just absolutely love. And the voices, I was playing voices literally before we came on air today, and just a really good album. And in terms of buying this, I mean, obviously I can download it from Bandcamp website. I'm just wondering, because some people want to sell it direct, but order it from your website or from Bandcamp or both. Where can I get it from?
Yeah, exactly that, from the band EMT website, and Bandcamp's our favourite place, clearly because they care about us as a musicians and what we're trying to do. So they're the ones that we mainly. We're not on any streamable sites just yet, just Bandcamp.
Right. We'll stick a link in so people can go and get it. And can I ask the question? This album is so damn good. Any chance of a vinyl release? I won't be if you can't, but this on vinyl make my year.
We did think about it. Tim's got a friend who does vinyl, and it was a complicated. It's too long, isn't it, Tim, for the vinyl?
It's way over. It's over 52, 55 minutes, I think, for the whole thing. So you can only really do 20 minutes aside, and even then you're pushing it. And my mate does sort of what you'd call a dub plate, I suppose. He made a lathe out of like a couple of SL1200s, and I think they're car hi-fi tweeters or something. Wow. And this thing actually cuts discs, like directly to disc. We looked at doing that, but he said he won't cut anything longer than 10-inch, and it was just like, no, there's no. It would be too hard. Like, if you put voices on there, that'd be one side gone.
Right, yeah.
You charge people so much money just for like 3 or 4 tracks. It's just
a double album it is then.
Maybe, yeah. But
your first priority is to take from me my vulnerability. Don't turn me down, don't turn me down.
Sure.
So that evolution of sound from Resolute to Electrical Medicine, is that a conscious thing, or is it just the way the band's grown and the way your songwriting's gone? And
I think the feedback from Resolute was so brilliant that it made us more determined to, satisfy people's appetite.
Yeah.
you know, everybody that we know that we now have following us and other electric bands that do all their bits and pieces, you know, they have a strong determination, and you know, we just didn't want to let people down, and we think more about the whole progress of from beginning to end of what we want to do. And even though Tony's still just right for ourselves, we still have that determination to want to please everybody, and it doesn't always work that way. There's often times, you know, when we'll go to Tim and say we think this is a cracking dance track, and you know, there's debates about what we could and couldn't do with it. So there's people that are on the editing floor, as it were.
I think I said this to someone else the other day. The first album, like everybody's first album, was just you've got all these songs, you chuck them on an album. But I mean, there was 15 tracks, ridiculously too many. And this one, we just wanted it to be as good as it could be, but absolutely no fillers. And we don't think there are any fillers.
None at all.
But it's taken a lot longer than we thought it would take. And in terms of the sound, I think I've thought a bit more about the sound, but then it's really down to Tim, who's done all the production.
Yeah, I mean, Emma said, Tim, you sprinkle your magic on it. How did you guys hook up? How did you get to do this together?
Tony was looking for a DAT machine one day on Facebook, I think. And I happened to have one lying around at the time. So we got in contact that way, didn't we? You came over here and asked me if I'd do a remix for them, which I did with regret.
Nice.
I think, to start off with. And then we just carried on from there, really. Just decided to pursue the album angle with it all, rather than just sort of treat it as ad hoc things.
Did you write and record it through lockdown separately, or was you ever together when you was doing parts of it, or was you sending stems to Tim, or was you working at times together?
Definitely, some of the songs were written together. Voices was kind of written separately, wasn't it? And that's like 3 songs in one. And
well, Voices, I was listening to it again this morning, and that's a great, I love that. It's an epic song, and it reminds me, and this is a really great thing, of a classic ZTT remix, where it's got that kind of sound, and it's a little, probably is the wrong word, but do you know what I mean?
I was going for Welcome to the Pleasure Dome on that.
No, but that's
I wanted the 22 minutes of Welcome to the Pleasure Dome.
No,
that's exactly what's wrong with
but
it.
it has got elements of that in there, Tim. There is in that. I was listening to it, and the way
it's got the Frankie brass and everything in there. That's all conscious and deliberate. It's very much based on like the original Welcome to the Pleasure Dome.
Yeah, can hear it.
The production is, at least the writing side of it was already delivered to me like that. So
well, if it is, I picked up on that. I mean, I love that. I love all the Frank production anyway, and I love that song. It's an epic song. It's a really great song on the album.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Act. Who I know.
Yeah.
Harry Brooken and And I think, which song is it? This Was Your Life. I think on that one, Tim, you said you were going for like kind of that sort of sound, I think, on that track as well.
Yeah, and that's got the
string stabs, I think.
Brass stab type sound, that sort of Jacob Ray.
Big sounds on it.
I don't believe in any of it. I can't believe in any of it. No, 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 no. I don't believe in any of it. I can't believe in any of it. No, 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 no. There are voices in my head, always telling me no.
And Emma, Tony, the origin story of you two, obviously you're making some great music. How did you two get together and become what you are in terms of this amazing output of music you're making now? How did it all start?
Well, Emma, you can take this.
A long time ago, back in the day. No, Tony and I were in another band when we were much younger, 16, 17. We were doing electronic music. Tony was massively into Depeche Mode, and, and those influences were there. And, we really enjoyed it. And then had the natural break, did the normal thing that people do, marriage and children. At least Tony did that bit. I just carried on as normal. And then there was a time when we were just chatting about something, and I think we both needed, new computers, etc. And I'd mentioned about Apple, and then we both mentioned about Logic, and dreaming of not having to deal with Cubase and its its annoying quirkiness. And from there, we kind of went, that would be a really good idea if we just both got Logic and imagine what we could do. And then the possibilities were endless. And here we are.
Amazing.
Yeah. I still can't believe it, to be honest. It's been such a journey. It doesn't sound too cliched there, but it really has been. And it's been exciting all the way because people have just been backing us and believing in us, and that's great. The feedback is just brilliant.
Yeah, we're loving seeing, say, all the people on our channel. So what they're saying about you guys is great. It's really cool. And obviously, I know you mentioned Depeche Mode just then, but who else are your big inspirations? Because sometimes me and Mark think we're going to hear something and actually we get it quite wrong. So obviously Depeche Mode, but who else are your big inspirations?
To be honest with you, I probably listen to less electronic music now than I ever have. So I don't know. When we started out, it's weird actually, because I think we're all probably around the same age, and we were probably all making music at the same time, but just didn't know it, didn't know each other. So when we was doing it when sort of acid house and all that stuff was coming on, so S Express and people like that were, and you've interviewed EMF and all those sort of bands. And I know when Tim was doing Flowered Up, that was probably similar sort of time. So
remember that
probably crossed paths at some point somehow. So that sort of stuff was a big influence. So, as a teenager, Depeche Mode and the like, and then went into dance a lot more. We've always had a dance element to us. And yeah, we were definitely doing more dance stuff then.
Yeah, you can hear that. And is it Feel Me? You can hear it in Feel Me. That's a really nice sort of gold-frappy, dancey. I love it. Absolutely.
Well, I made a note here. I think the track Vulnerability has got a very gold-frap feel to it.
Well, that's a huge compliment because I'm a massive fan of Goldfrapp.
Yeah, I mean,
you're asking who's an influence. You just mentioned one of them now for both.
I was listening to it this morning just to kind of refresh myself, and I was listening to Vulnerability, and the vocal on that could be Alison Goldfrapp. It's like and what's wrong with that? That's a brilliant compliment.
It's like you're like a perfect mix of Alison Goldfrapp and Claudia Brook, and it's like you're a perfect vocalist. Voice is sounding really good on the whole album, I've got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very cool.
So, I mean, this question might seem a bit redundant with what Tim's got behind him, but do you use hardware synths or software synths, or is it a mixture of both?
I use no hardware stuff whatsoever. Used to, in the old days. I don't miss any of it really, but Tim definitely does.
Tony sends me it. I mean, if he's used any synths that I haven't got, he'll bounce them out for me, so I just get stems of those. Yeah. Otherwise, he'll just send me the MIDI parts, and we basically have a lot of the same plugins that we use a lot, like Omnisphere and Serum and just Contact for a lot of the library stuff. But we've got a lot of duplication in our stuff, so we can just send the Logic projects over rather than have stems every time and have to work it up from that. It's much easier to do it that way. But I get it from Tony, and Tony is a bit of a bugger for using 4 different bass sounds where like one will do the job. So I generally lose 3 of them and then fly it out to an SH101 or the Mini Moog or something like that. So often, a lot of the time, my job is a lot of the time is to simplify. So you can hear the little bits of everything. So everything gets its little place where it can be heard. So that might mean taking out where they've got apart a lot, just to let something else flourish in that little bit of it. So you get a bit of light and shade. But a lot, I mean, I keep a lot of Tony stuff, especially all the Paddy Cordy stuff, the Omnisphere stuff just generally stays.
Nice.
I'll do lines and stuff. I'll throw lines as well at the songs as well as what Tony throws at me. So
because the bass parts are quite intricate, aren't they? I was listening to some of the bass parts in isolation, and there's some little bends in the bass lines, and it's probably a multitude of different bass sounds. If you what Tim did,
well, they normally just stripped down. I mean, the most 2. There'll be one doing like maybe but they'll be playing the same part. They'll just be the 2 sounds. So one might be sort of more top heavy, whereas then it'll have something subby underneath just to pin it down, or it'll be a complete sound. Just in one. I prefer to try and simplify it. You end up with too many bass lines running.
Yeah.
The phase goes to pieces. It just gets very messy.
You and I
How do you write songs? Do Emma and Tony both write, or do you write for an album, or are you just writing continuously, or does Emma write the words? How does it all work? How does it fit together?
Emma?
The meeting of minds, I think that's basically what it is. Tony always seems to have a core of what he wants, and I'll come along, we'll talk about whether it can go into a proper, full-on hardcore dance, or whether we could simplify it, make it more commercial, more sing-along ability on it, or whether it's something we don't as a crowd pleaser at a gig. And so we do often think about the dynamic before we start to get into the hard work of it all. And I like to come up with some hook lines, but Tony predominantly knows there are great drum sounds, there are great pads, there are great, there are so many things that we have access to now, that Tony has written pretty much a good percentage of the song. And then we both have to write lyrics together. I mean, I try and come up with certain things, but I find that actually conversing with Tony, because it helps to understand the direction that we want to go in. I can't just freeform on my own. I need Tony there to be able to rein me in, because otherwise I'll just go off on a tangent. And we like to be quite clever. We don't want to be too obvious. And we do look at life for inspiration. And again, Tony keeps me grounded, because otherwise I'd just be going off talking about how crap it all is, and COVID's been a nightmare, and Tony brings it back down to the ground again.
Well, Diva's quite a good observational song, isn't it? A lyric on that, which I like the lyric on that, because I thought it was only me that thought like that, but it was pleasing to hear those lyrics.
It was written about loads of different people. I'm not, people keep saying, "Oh, that's about so and so, isn't it?" And you go, "Yeah, what's it to be about them? It could be about them." But I mean, it was a few people. But yeah, I mean, it was. I remember when we did it, we just thought this song is so camp. So we said to Tim, this is probably the campest thing we've done. And but hey, I don't give a damn. A good song is a good song. I don't care.
Right, yeah.
It's camp. I don't care if it's electronic. I don't care if it's commercial. If it's a good song, it's a good song, and that's really all we want to do. So we're not precious about we've got to make it weird, or we've got to make it a bit whatever. I'll just write whatever comes into my head. And Emma is doing herself a disservice, actually, because nearly all of this album was written together. The first album, I did probably a lot of the music, but this album definitely has been written together. And Emma's a bloody good musician, and she can write songs, and just got herself a copy of Logic now, new Emma, with your new Mac, so I should be expecting lots of songs from her. But yeah, it's if you guys are musicians, if you start doing something and you think this sounds good, you're not going to stop and wait for someone to turn up. You just do it. I think actually Feel Me might have been done just from a start of a bass line that I did, and then together we took it and made it into a song. So it's much more done together now than it ever was before. Yeah. And I think if you look at the lyrics on the first album, they're pretty throwaway nonsense, really. These ones, I think we've tried to be a bit more thoughtful about them, but lyrics are difficult as hell. So there's still some pop songs on there that are completely, throwaway as well, but I've got no issue with that at all. So.
I mean, you three obviously work very well together. If you could collaborate, is anyone else you'd like to collaborate with? Just go, oh, yeah, I'd love to do something with them. Would they be right for us? Or anyone that springs to mind? Maybe if you
famous or not famous?
It's entirely up to you, mate. From the heart. So it doesn't have to be famous. Just interesting for our guys, our viewers, to know who kind of that stands up for you.
I've heard this lot called Tin Gun. They're quite a good band, aren't they? Who else?
Who are they?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you mentioned Goldfrapp. That would be an absolute dream come true. It's never going to happen, but that's a dream come. We would personally, we've got at least 2 songs on the. We've already started the third album. We've got loads of good things going on there. And there's definitely a couple of songs there which people might cringe at this, but we think they'd absolutely fit Sophie Ellis-Bextor really, really well. They're just good dance commercial songs, and again, I've got no issue with that. So. But yeah, credibility.
What's the Tin Gun one?
Oh, you have to ask Tim about that.
Is that the guy in Tenet?
It's me, Pete Steer, and Mark Truman from Signstar.
And he was in the band Tenet, was he?
Pete was in Tenet as well. Yeah.
God, yeah. I mean, I saw them Well, I saw them at the O2 Islington. It might have been when they were supporting you.
He would be supporting us. Yeah, that was about 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah.
So,
He's done guitars on the album, and
all right. I think he lives up the road. He lives up the road from us.
He lives in Braintree.
He lives in Braintree, yeah.
Yeah. No, he's played guitar. He's played on Diva, Voices, and This Was Your Life, I think.
Yeah. When we started out and come back to do music in 2014, Pete was one of the first people that I've got in contact with and started chatting to, and bloke was just so generous with his help and just a nice bloke. So
I'll judge you on just about everything without knowing a damn thing. Self-entitled wanna be, 'cause everyone knows I'm the drama queen. Meet me, look at me, I'm the 24-hour celebrity. Queen of nothing hasn't been.
Mark, did you have a quick a Republica story in the rain or something you mentioned to me? What was that?
I was going to say, which is quite funny, is that I've seen Republica a couple of times, and one at the O2 Islington with Tenet, and we saw you at V Festival.
Oh, V97.
Yeah. So it was funny because it was pissing down with rain.
It was, wasn't it?
And I was there with Andy and Andy's brother, and we went and saw Republica. I love Republica. And Andy was really pissed off all day because he was standing in the rain. And we was there, centre middle, and it was filmed at the time, I think, by MTV or something.
Yeah.
And the camera went on the audience, and they locked in on me, Andy, and his brother. Me and Andy's brother were just kind of like, you know, at a gig, loving it. Andy had his face on and his beanie hat, and he was like so pissed off, and it just locked in on us for about 5 seconds. It's just hilarious. I've often tried to find the footage of it just to get a still of that moment.
You'd have to dig that up. Yeah, that was a fun gig. That was, I remember that one.
So Tony, when did you get into the production side of things?
I've pretty much always done it. So it was with Flowered Up really towards the end, like, because when we started Flowered Up, no one had been in the studio, really. I'd just done stuff in corporate studios, and actually, no, I had been in proper studios and done demos and things, but not really. But it was working with Clive Langer.
Oh, right, okay.
On the Flowered Up stuff, really, that I got a taste for the programming and the production and the engineering. I've always loved engineering, sticking microphones on things, recording it. I've always loved fiddling with mixing desks, and even though I don't have one now, it's the one thing I can't fit in this room is a decent desk. But who needs one these days with a computer?
Exactly, we got all that.
That was with that, and then 2 years after Flowered Up, well, it was about a year after Flowered Up, I started Republica. So, and that we did all. Well, I mean, we worked with producer on the second album. Well, with 3 producers on the second album, but the first album was all self-produced with me and Andy Todd.
Good album. Good album. It is one. For this is me. Might always have a think about who could be what. So, Desert Island Disc, Emma. You're allowed to take one. What is it? And I bet I'm way out. I've got it in my head what I think it is, but I'll wait till you answer first, and then I'll tell you what I was thinking.
David Bowie, Hunky Dory.
Died upstairs at Eric's Yazoo. Wrong.
That is one of my all-time favourites. But I think if I have to listen to a song over and over again, David does it for me every time. His chord changes are legendary. So yeah, close, but not close enough.
Cigar. Yeah, I'm a big Bowie fan. Love him to bits. Come on, Tony.
Well, then, let's hear your guess first.
Right, my guess is going to be.
I guess Black Celebration.
I guess Violator.
Well, you're both wrong.
You would be.
Although Violator's an outstanding album. Yeah. Is that actually David Sylvian Gone to Earth?
Oh, Mr. Sylvian. Yeah.
So, yeah, big fan, big fan. And I just don't get bored of that album.
Come on, Tim. Favourite album?
Can I guess it?
You guess it.
Soul Mining.
Yes.
The
Soul Mining.
Brilliant.
Oh man, I was at the. Was you at the Albert Hall gig?
No, I went to the Brixton one.
I saw it. Amazing, wasn't it? Amazing.
I didn't go that much on it, I'm afraid.
Albert Hall was amazing.
I saw them back in the day in Portsmouth with Johnny Marr on guitar,
Oh, right. Okay.
James
Yeah.
Eller on bass, and it was just, it wasn't a patch on that.
Good nights and bad nights. I guess. Radiohead, I saw in, what was it? The NOS Festival in Lisbon. And Mr. York had his back to the audience for the whole set, didn't acknowledge any of us. I was, you having a bad night, Tom? Because it's getting a bit boring now. So I
He
left.
probably saw you on MTV and he thought, what's the point? What's the point of trying to entertain this guy because he's miserable?
Come amuse me.
In your arms tonight. Every time you call my name, every time I wait in vain, I feel mesmerized.
What about, so, I mean, obviously you guys have got your influences. What about new artists? Who's standing out for you right now? Because, you know, one of the reasons we do this is obviously promoting great bands like yourself, but there's so many other good bands out there that just don't get a leg up. Any new artists that have made you stand and go, I really like what they're doing? Anyone come to mind?
Yeah, there's a couple for me, and I think we spoke about this online. One is Lump, who are Mike Lindsay from Tongue. That's T-U-N-G, weird spelling. And I love them as well.
Okay.
And Laura Marling, so Lump, brilliant. Not done a lot recently. There's another band called Let's Eat Grandma, two young women, stupidly talented. Their last album was brilliant. Who else? Messidorm, love Messidorm. Keep missing them live. I really want to see them live. The singer is phenomenal. And I actually quite like, you might hate me for this, Grimes. I really like Grimes. Not the style of music.
Mate, I've seen Grimes live at Heaven.
Oh, right. Any good?
Great. Really good. New albums. Oh, the last album from last year.
Yeah.
I put it in the top 30, 2020. It's
Really
great.
like it. Yeah.
It's a great album. I mean, she's very talented. Bit weird, but in a nice way. There's nothing wrong with that, right? That's why we fell in love with Bowie. Yeah, it's
I
different.
like weird.
So do I. Absolutely. No, she's a great artist. Really good artist. What about you, Em?
Oh God, I'm commercial all the way. So I'm predictably loving Billie Eilish. I just think that everything about her, you know, the relationship she has with her brother, it's just, yeah, I've got a lot of time for her, a lot of good lyrics and good vocals. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, obviously, record sales validate that as well. So
Yeah.
What about you, Tim? Any new stuff springs to mind for you, mate?
Not really. No, I can't think of anything. I just listen to Radio 6 all day at work most of the time, that and podcasts. So.
Yeah, some good stuff on that.
There's always good stuff, but nothing that's really floating my boat at the moment, I wouldn't have said.
What was that? Didn't you like something Kit? This is Kit or something? What was that?
Oh, This Is the Kit. Yeah.
This is the Kit.
This is the
Quite
Kit.
pokey, weren't they?
Yeah. They're pretty good. Yeah, they're well funky, but
it's all quirky stuff, like stuff that like your album's great, very electronic, very stuff I love. But then, you know, I don't know if I've been plugging it a bit to a point where some of the guys on Facebook are taking the piss out of me. But Lost Horizons, which is Simon Raimondo from the Cocktails and Mary Jane, he's got all these different guest vocalists. I think that's a work of art. You know, it's
a similar tip. There's that Richard guy who runs XL, does that. Everything is recorded. I really like.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got
some of the singles are great. The ones with Sam for singing on them are great.
Yeah. There's some good stuff out there. And then I was going to say, here's another one for you. Table for four, so you can have 3 people you want to spend dinner and even with dinner with. Who would it be?
Obviously, me and Andy will take 2 of them, so you've only got a couple.
Make it really easy for you, Tim.
Table
for 4. Who would be your table for 4? I think Emma's would be David Bowie. You want to keep?
No.
The other two?
No, it's going to be. I'm going to support the girls again. It's going to be animatronic.
Oh yeah.
From Scissor Sisters.
Yeah.
Who else? That's only one.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to have all the others. Oh God. Okay, so it wouldn't always be singers. So I like Michaela Cole, the actress. She's a poet as well. Let it be said, a very good actress, directing, producing. I love everything about her. And I really hate these kind of questions because I'm really crap at them. It would be Dave Grohl because I love drummers and I love her. And then I'll have another David. It'll be David Bowie.
Yeah.
See, I told you. It'd both be on there.
All right, let you have it.
Tim, could you tell them the Tears for Fears story? That's talking about producers when you work with Ian Stanley. That's a classic story.
Oh, yeah. On the second Republica album, we worked with Ian Stanley and Andy Gray, who was with him at the time. And so you start asking Ian about Tears for Fears, and he comes out with a few tales. But when he left, while they were doing Sowing the Seeds, and he'd had enough and walked out. They'd spent about a week on a hi-hat part, he said. And he'd had enough, he couldn't take it anymore, so he walked out. They persuaded him to go back a year later, and they were still working on the same hi-hat. They still hadn't put it to bed. He said they had one day they had an 88-piece orchestra in for the day to do Sowing the Seeds, and they used about 3 seconds of it.
Wow. There is all those stories that Roland the Laswell couldn't let it go.
Yeah, no, he couldn't put anything down, could he?
But at the end of the day, it's a stunningly sounding album, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Ian's great. Ian, like, he gets an idea in his head and he just goes after it, and he keeps going and he keeps going. He's got such a work ethic.
Amazing.
Really talented.
I think he played keyboards on Songs of the Big Chair as well, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he played all 3 albums and the Hercules one as well.
Actually, Tony, I've just realised something. I also want to ask you: any live dates coming? I know it's been there. We're opening up again, sort of. Any chance of seeing you guys live that we can?
Yeah.
The next one's not till January next year, so that's with Science Star, their farewell concert. We're supporting them with Psychoelectric. That's the 8th of January.
Where's that, mate?
That's the Fleece in Firkin in Bristol.
Okay.
Great little venue. Played there before, and that's really for their bass player James, who sadly passed away. So we're doing it's like for his family. So you know, we've decided this year we're not going to do anything until that gig, and then we'll see what happens after that. Things opening up, but yeah, looking forward to that a lot. So there's going to be a lot of good. So you'll have to come.
Oh, mate! Oh,
yeah, definitely. Hang on, let's go back to Tony's Table for 4.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Producers don't have to do tables before.
It's just a pot noodle and a fag. I thought about this, and all I could think of was if I was going out for a meal, I would want to have a laugh. So I've picked people that just make me laugh. So I've picked Bob Mortimer.
Yeah.
Because I just love him, and I think he's hilarious. Then I thought, okay, well, he's funny. Who else is funny? And he's not here anymore. Rick Mail. I know it's 80s, but I love Rick Mail. Yeah. And then I thought, we've got to have Rick. You're going to have Adrian Edmondson there as well, because that'd be entertaining. And then I thought, to balance it out and to keyboarder, and then because I like facts and I'm a sad git, I'd have got his name, Stephen Fry as well, because you won't get bored, will you, with that lot?
I think Stephen Fry is everybody's table guest, but yeah, I think
it's a bit crap. There we go.
But knowing what I found out recently about him, you basically want Colin Grigson and Vim Fuego at the table with you, don't you?
I do. I bloody well do.
Actually, we'll do.
By the way, it said sausages.
we saw them. We saw them at Hamilton Pavilion.
Bad news. Yeah. That was
Brian May came on at Bohemian Rhapsody, like walking on doing a solo. And at the back of the stage, they from floor to ceiling, left to right, was all Marshall stacks. And then halfway through, someone opened the door and they all blew over because they were just all painted cardboard boxes.
Well, I've seen a couple of pictures of places like Donington where they're just mock-ups. They're just big stacks, and they're just mock-ups. There's nothing behind them. So I don't think they're alone there. I don't know, Tim, is that something you can verify?
No, I couldn't possibly say anything about it.
Tim, just to quickly, I know you're playing gigs and stuff. I know you come back from one last night. Anything new in the pipeline for Republica, music-wise, release-wise?
No, there's an album finished, but it's
really?
finished 18 months ago. So
You released Christiana Obey a few years ago.
Yeah, no,
I love that song, and I was
there's a
expecting
whole 10-track album done. But,
and I was expecting something to be following that. But I mean, I love that song. I bought it at the time, but there was nothing really after it.
Well, we sort of ground to a halt over lockdown anyway. But no, we're just. I mean, I'd be quite happy sticking it out on Bandcamp and doing what everybody else does these days. But other people would like to put it out for a record company. But that means finding one and getting them to do it. So it's, that's not I just record the stuff. I don't get involved in any of the music business bollocks. It just does my head in.
Let's have a listen to it though, guys. And there's like a couple of songs on there. Just really.
I'll send you copies.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link to it.
New York. What's the song called, Tim? New York? Something New York?
New York, yeah.
New York, absolutely. They did it. I saw them live a couple of months ago, and it just went down as good as
a couple of weeks total.
Was it? I don't know what day it is, but yeah, really great song. There's at least 3 hit songs on that album. That's a really
I'd love to hear it. 'Cause I mean,
really
I love
I'll send you
drums on that. Brilliant.
I'll send you links. Yeah, the live drums on that.
Postcard memory, a photograph, all smart please. Just look deeper in my eyes. Everyone tells me the camera never lies. Oh, Christiana, I'm calling you from miles away.
Because the song DNA has got a very Republica feel to it. And it's also, I wanted to ask you about, do you have that synth sound that comes in that sounds like a guitar?
Massive.
Is that a synth or is it a guitar? Or is it a synth?
It's serum. It's serum. Yeah.
It's a great sound coming in.
Yeah. There's quite often I'll listen back and I won't even know where they came from. And but I did listen back to that one thinking, is that serum? Went back and had a listen to it, and it is. And yeah, it does sound like a guitar, doesn't it? It's that synth has got some disgusting sounds on it, and I mean disgustingly good sounds on it. But yeah, it's you want something that'll stand out a bit, it'll do it. So yeah, all synth.
I mean, as I'm a keyboard player, and I was listening to it going to work, and it kicked in, and it's like, what? What is that? What is that sound? It sounds impressive.
When we do it live, we've done it live in France, and again, it did make people jump up a little bit.
Yeah,
yeah, it's good fun to do live.
Great sound, great production.
Emma's vocals live, by the way, are brilliant. So you know, if you think she's good on recording, she's much better live, I think. So
was there much multi-tracking on the new album, Emma? Because I could hear some harmonies with your vocals.
It's me in the background and Tim.
I think because we've had so much time to be able to sit back and listen to it over and over again, there's more ideas that start to happen. And there's often times when, you know, I'll go and before lockdown, it'd be Tim's, I'd be in this room and there would be times when Tim would be recording me and then making the pause. And whilst we're waiting for whatever needed to be waited for, I'd still be trying to keep the memento. And in one of the tracks, which one is it, Tony? Is it Disciples? I start just humming. I'm waiting.
Undecided.
And I hear,
Undecided.
yeah, sorry, Undecided. And Tim just came through the speakers, the headphones, saying, no, do that again. And I'd just been humming something randomly. Da, 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 da. And he said, no, wait, we're going to do that again. Yeah, do the same, but again, do the same. And yeah, so a lot of the ideas I've come up with myself, and Tim will say, yeah, that's great, keep doing that, make it a bit more this, make it a bit more that. He's really good with direction, actually, as well as producing. He can really make me think harder about how I'm delivering a word, you know, that you can be quite fluffy if you're not thinking straight. And, you know, some particular lyrics need power behind them. So while I'm trying to hit the right notes, it's good to have Tim be able to say, you could do that better, you can be stronger on that. And Tim knows me so well now that he can really, you know, say, stop pushing so hard, you know, because I just like to project. It's all I think I can do. And whereas Tim can slow it down and make me actually be quieter, which is quite good, actually. How that will be delivered live, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it, I have to say. Doing the whole album in January the 8th will be yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Nice. You need to let us know if you get some dates lined up for next year, especially sort of like London way. I mean, we'd love to come along and support you guys and put it out there.
I think as things open up more, it'll happen. So
Can't wait, mate. That'll be really, really cool. Really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to it. And Tim, I hope the album sees proper release and everything for you as well, mate.
One of these days, I'm sure it'll limp its way out into the world.
will it take as long as our second album to come out?
It takes 17 years to do, so
yeah, you win.
It's a while to do that Republica album.
Tony, I know you're saying like 2 or 3 tracks in. So might we see a new EMT release next year or year after?
Yeah, I mean, this is yeah. Tim, we'll bring beer. No, yeah, we've done probably half. We've got 5 demos, so we've done half of it that we know we want to work on. We want to promote this album, but so this album sort of finishes. I guess the promotion side would finish about October. Yeah. So then we will start reforming, regrouping, and they're on the back burner. And I actually think some of the songs are even better. Wow. This album, so we are working very hard to push ourselves and challenge ourselves. I've said before in other interviews, it's easy to write a weird electronic song. It's not so easy to write a commercial, catchy song that's ticks all the boxes. But I have to say, a lot of that, without blowing smoke, Tim has taught us a lot about what things work, what doesn't work, and he's made us think very much more carefully about things. And
that's because I'm hard.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, what was that thing that without name dropping like a massive clanger here, Ian Broody, I know you worked with Tim. What was his thing about writing songs?
He has a thing that each song should have 7 individual elements in it that are unique to that song, like sort of just events or something to pique your interest. Just 7 different little elements throughout a song. He says, if you haven't got 7 things in there, then keep going.
And I think that's what Tim brings as well as production.
Yeah.
He can pull out things and add things, because Tim does add things to the songs as well. And it'll be like, we didn't even think of that. We should have done that. So it all works together well.
I remember I picked up on Emma's comment at the very beginning. His magic dust or sprinkle on it that just adds.
Well, I mean, the production on this album is incredible. I think it really is a great job on that, Tim. But when a
lot of it comes pre-formed from Tony. I mean, I'm just a sounds man. Really.
That's not actually true, is it?
No, it's
well. I mean, I know the difference for when you send off like a mix and you get back a master, get it mastered. The difference that a producer can give a song, but just the sonically, it's just like bigger. But
it's handy that I do both ends of it as well, doing the mastering as well, because it means I've got a great master engineer, a guy called Streaky, that I've used in the past, and I've known him for donkey's years. And we work well together, but I've sort of learnt the dark arts from him a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's great to be able to see it right the way through to the other end and know that the
and then
product that you want to put out to the world, the product.
Right there, kids. I'll try to do it as well.
Yeah, come on.
We've all got to do it together, surely.
Mine's over there. Hang on.
Hang on.
Oh, hang on.
Watching this, you haven't brought it. What are you waiting for? Your ears deserve this.
Shocking behaviour.
There you go.
There you go.
Ta-da! Some joking aside, definitely for all our viewers, get this. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant.
And Tony, one last thing. When I get up in the morning, one of the first things I see is that you've already run 5K and I'm feeling very inadequate.
Hey, there's a lot of stopping, taking pictures and then running again.
I'll wait. I mean, I'll get up quite early and I see it and I think, oh my God, I should be out doing something because you're already running around some reservoir or something.
Yeah, well, got to get out of the house somehow, haven't you? But yeah, no,
exactly.
It's not as amazing as it sounds, really. It's it's just a few friends just dawdling around and meeting up for coffee afterwards, really. But yeah.
Well, guys, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Lovely to meet
It's
you.
great to talk to you after this time. I think, Tony, you was probably one of the first people to reach out to us when me and Andy started this, and we've been waiting for this really to actually have the conversation and talk to you. But
it's a good
really
job I
nice
didn't speak to you a couple of years ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, when me and Andy started doing this, I mean, Andy said to me, do you fancy doing it? And at a low moment, I went, yeah, all right, let's do it. Not knowing if it'd fall flat on its face or whatever, because we love our music, and we didn't necessarily think that us two banging on about music all the time would be popular. But it's turned out really well. I mean, we've gone from a standing start to where we are. I mean, you reached out early doors, and we really appreciate that. And we brought a bit of momentum, and getting things like this and talking to bands and you about things like this for us is amazing, because it brings us a step closer to the music, meeting people like you, and just in our own little way, helping or trying to help just get your music out.
That's all we want to do. If 5 more people go and buy this album off the back of this, I'm happy. Hopefully 100 more would be even better, 1,000 would be great, but it's just getting people to know you guys, and it's an absolute pleasure to meet you both, and your good self, Tim. Really enjoyed it, mate. And after obviously coming from a gig last night means a lot, and looking forward to your album, mate, when it finally sees the light of day.
I shall send you a link.
Thank you.
That would be great. That would be great.
Right,
So, but Tony, Emma, Tim, thanks very much. Really appreciate it. We'll put your music throughout this episode, and we'll get it out there
Lovely.
as we can.
I'll buy you guys a beer tomorrow night.
Excellent.
I look forward to it. Cheers, guys. Great to see you. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Thanks for everything.
Thank you so
See you
much.
later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
I'm on a long, 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 long journey. I guess I've got no place to go. Yeah. Dirty town, city. Living here ain't so easy. There's nothing here. I'm trying again. It's too late to change events. I've seen it all before, and so I'm lying again. Till there's nothing left and the damage is done.
So, hope you enjoyed that interview with Emma and Tony. Guys, thank you so much. And obviously, a big nod to Mr. Tim Dorney as well. Great to meet you all. Fabulous album. Well worth checking out. One of the best I've heard for a while. So, thanks, guys. Absolute pleasure. And to you, everyone, say hopefully we'll see some of you at the big Rusty Egan event at Pizza Express on October the 9th. In the meantime, stay safe, and we'll see you very soon on the next episode of Electronic Cafe. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks again for watching. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.